So I've had a workshop in some form or another for like the past like 6 years. No, well, yeah, 6 or 7 years. I've always had a little part of. I've always had like a little part of my space that was dedicated to me making things. Even when I had all my tools and stuff in my bedroom, I had like a little workbench, and that could have been like a rolling cart, or it could have been the thing I mounted to the wall, like a little work table I mounted to the wall. But I always had like some space that I could have dedicated for making things. A place that I didn't mind if it got dirty, or if it got holes put in it, or something like that. I feel like I just hit a milestone for myself as a maker. Because for the first time, I built a workbench. Yeah, so I built my own workbench for the first time ever. Let me show it to you guys. So here are my brand new workbenches. And I did like a time lapse of me building it, and I'll throw that up here. But like, this is it. Like, it's made out of sturdy 2x4s. I've got to keep it organized. That's part of what I'm doing right now. I'm about to send a bunch of little containers to the printers to print. More of these guys. These are part of the Gridfinity system by Zach Friedman. And if I just kind of shove these off to the side, because they need homes, I'll put this lamp I made up here. There we go. I built into these workbenches something that I needed, which was a space to put some of these Gridfinity containers. And they just lock into those spots in there, and they don't move unless you move them. And it's cool. It's like a custom storage solution kind of thing. And no joke, I am super happy with how these workbenches turned out. And I was really excited about them, and I knocked them out in a couple of days because I had just gotten lumber from my friends, because they're moving to Alabama. They're driving there right now, and they had to get rid of all this lumber and stuff that they had. And I put these workbenches together, and it's like, I'm gonna get a little emotional. My workbenches before were a couple of folding tables that my family really couldn't use because of the pandemic. These were the folding tables we would bust out if we were having like people over for Easter or Thanksgiving or something like that, and but we couldn't use them, so I used them. And they were never quite what I needed. Like, they were good enough, but they were never quite what I needed. They were never strong enough. They were never sturdy enough. There was the way the space underneath them was constantly... It was like an interrupted space, because they're folding tables. They're meant to fold and collapse. So they had those diagonal brackets, and that meant I couldn't fit as much underneath them. But now I have these workbenches that I designed and built for myself, and they're built to keep the underside open and clear to put stuff under. And I even took the excess lumber and I turned it into a shelf underneath that just happened to be the perfect size to fit my little my table saws underneath them. My miter saws and my Rockwell. I don't know what the hell kind of saw that's called. It's kind of like if you put a jigsaw and mounted it upside down on a table. But I've got room for all my stuff, and they're so sturdy. Like that's not going anywhere. And I made that. This feels like one of those things that is like makes me feel more legitimate as a maker. I'm not saying that if you can't build your own workbench or if you don't want to build your own workbench, you're not a legitimate maker. This is just what makes me feel more legitimate as a maker. And I feel like in building it, I crossed some kind of Rubicon. So I just felt like sharing that with you guys. Yeah.